All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ethan Pitt, and I work for the Iowa SBDC. I'm the tech startup advisor for the state. And today we're lucky enough to have with us Sherry Edelson, who's the CEO and co-founder of Member Marketplace and Shop Iowa. We're going to talk to Sherry today about using Shop Iowa and what that all entails, how it's important for small businesses and entrepreneurs to use the platform, as well as economic developers and community partners. Then a little bit later, we'll actually hand the mic over to Ashley, who is an entrepreneur herself. She is the owner of Shop Six Seasons, and she'll be able to tell us about how she uses Shop Iowa and leverages the online platform for her small business as well. So without further ado, Sherry, if you don't mind telling us a little bit about what is Shop Iowa and who uses it.
Yay. Thanks, Ethan. Here, I'm going to share I made a little video. And so I'm going to share that here while I do a voiceover. Is that working?
Yep.
Okay. So Shop Iowa, here we go. So Shop Iowa, it is an e-commerce platform for the state of Iowa. It's for Iowa's small businesses to be able to sell online together through a shared resource. So it's kind of like a local Amazon for Iowa. So it's a free resource. It's started by the Iowa Economic Development Authority last year during the pandemic. So, when physical doors were shut, right around St. Patrick's Day of last year, a lot of small businesses, that was it. That was it for them. Their stores were closed. They weren't selling online yet. And so the IEDA was looking for a way to help these small businesses get online quickly. And Member Marketplace, our company, has already been doing marketplaces for communities. So it really was kind of just bringing that up a gap and being able to do a statewide platform. And so we started announced it in August of 2020 last year. And so it's been growing over this past year. We have about 550 businesses on the platform from all 99 counties and about 200 different cities all throughout the state. And I pulled up really some kind of the businesses that are on the platform so far. So we have home and garden businesses, we have apparel and accessory businesses, food and beverages, a lot of women's clothing, gift baskets, food pieces. So just it's a whole marketplace for physical products from small businesses within the state of Iowa. And then the businesses that can sell on the platform, it can be a retail business. So if there's any kind of Main Street business, it could be a home-based businesses as long as they make their own products. So there's a Handmade in Iowa one. And then also there's a few other ones that are kind of in between that. So we have some restaurants on there that are selling maybe gift cards or some merch on there as well. So as long as it's an Iowa business or Handmade in Iowa, if it's not a physical location, it can be from their home as well. And it's been growing over the past year, and we're excited about where it's going in the holiday season coming up, which is why we wanted to do this presentation with you for this month.
Cool. So, you talked about the businesses that are able to use Shop Iowa on the platform. Can you shed some light a little bit on the consumers? Who are they? How do they access the platform? How do they start buying some of the items that are listed on the site?
Yeah, so I pulled real quick ahead of time. The customers that are coming to the platform are from all throughout the state of Iowa, but we actually have sold to, I think, 45 different states as well. So it's an Iowa-based platform, but we have customers that are shopping from all over. So customers are coming from Google searches, about 25% are internet searches, about another 25% is maybe a direct link. So they already know Shop Iowa and they keep coming back. And then another 50% is from referring websites. So we have partners with the SBDC of Iowa. We have partners with obviously IEDA, but then Travel Iowa. And if you think about the 500 or so different businesses that are on there, all of the main streets and communities that have linked to the platform as well. So it's really become kind of a conglomerate to be able to shop, find, and buy local Iowa products on there. So customers are coming from a multiple of different ways. And then the businesses, when they're referring it, obviously you might come from that particular business, but then you're there and you're shopping from other ones. And then we've also seen now people, and we'll talk about it when we touch base on Ashley's products here in a little bit, but somebody who buys something, and they like it and they're sharing it with their friends, those friends are also now coming back to the website and buying it and then discovering new products on there as well. So it really is a good way to be able to discover everything that exists within Iowa small businesses, and we want that to continue to grow.
Cool. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the weeds here. A lot of times when I work with a retail business, especially one that has a strong online presence or wants to grow that way, they use other platforms, third-party platforms, to help facilitate those online transactions. Can you talk about how Shop Iowa parallels some of those platforms, something like Shopify or Square or Weebly, things like that?
Yeah. So what's nice about our platform is for our business, maybe who doesn't have a website yet, if we start there, this can function as a website for them. They have their own backlink in here. They have their own store within the platform where you can come and shop from just their products. They can put it on a business card. They can link to it from their social media page. So it's a nice way for those that don't want to build their own website. They can have their own website within the platform and it can do that for them. And then they have the support of our team to help them manage that and make sure they're selling online appropriately. And, we review their products and assist them with that. And then for those like Ashley, who has a Shopify store, we can integrate with their Shopify store, be able to pull in all of that work that they've already done in their own platforms by getting the photos up, by getting the descriptions, the inventory. It's hard to duplicate that over into another site. And so we've got integrations with Shopify, with Square, and I believe Weebly now so far, and we'll be adding a few other ones in. So it can really take the work that they've done, be able to pull that in. And then when an item sells on our website, it'll sync back and update the inventory on their website. And then daily it's going to pull in a sync from their website. So if they added new products to that collection, we can pull those in. If they updated a price, it'll sync that new price in. It'll update the inventory. So it really is a way for those who are already selling, a way for them to be able to expand into more ways easily without a lot of extra work or management on their end.
So it's kind of an opportunity for a business that really is at any of those online stages, whether it's pre-website or they just have a Facebook page, to one that does have their own website. They can utilize Shop Iowa and leverage the power of the platform. Is that fair to say?
Yep. Perfect.
Perfect. So what does a business need to do in order to get signed up for Shop Iowa? How do they start using it?
It's pretty simple. Go to shopiowa.com/sell. There's a little questionnaire there, and it will walk them through the steps to go ahead and register their shop. Our team gets a notification once a business is registered. We'll review, approve their shop, and get them set up. There's a few store settings they need to do, like connecting to billing. They need to set some shipping settings and some policies, but that can all be done, within 10 minutes or so, and then they'll be released to start adding their products. And once that first product is live, they can make their first sale on the platform within just a few minutes. So it's not a day-long process or, for several weeks where you got to get a website set up. They could go from registering to having, several products listed within the hour and make their first sale at that time too. So our team will assist them through all those steps, shopiowa.com/sell, and we'll work with them to get up and going.
So right now might be a good idea to jump over to a real entrepreneur who's actually going through that process. Sherry, you want to introduce Ashley and start there?
So yes, when we were talking about doing this, we wanted to bring in a Shop Iowa business owner that's been utilizing the platform. And so our team talks about Ashley a lot, and her ears are ringing all the time just because she does a really great job with her shop on Shop Iowa. So it's Shop 6 Seasons. And what we like about Ashley is, when she's got the Shopify integration, she's going and updating her collection all the time, but she's a really good entrepreneur. And some of the pieces that we're trying to educate other small businesses on is staying relevant for the times and selling products that customers want when they want them. And so before the fall season even comes up, Ashley's got her football tailgating shirts on. She's got her, right now she's got some breast cancer awareness products going on for October and different things. Her products always come out right before that season because customers see them, they want to wear them during the season. And so sometimes we have some businesses that are retroactively adding products after that moment just happened. And so she's always forward thinking, getting her products on, sinking in really easily. And she's had a number of sales and some recent successes with some products too. So Ashley, I'm going to throw it over to you if you want to introduce yourself and just let people know about your business. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley Hahn, and I started 6 Seasons in November of 2017. A little bit about my background. I used to actually work at a t-shirt place. That was one of my first jobs back behind the dryer. Very first level. I didn't really make the shirts or anything like that, but I kind of got a feel for it. But I've always kind of been an entrepreneur at heart. My husband and I owned a Jimmy John's for a short while when we were living in Muscatine. And then when we decided to move closer to his work, I became a stay-at-home mom. And with that, I just like that entrepreneur in me, always wanted to be doing something. So I joined actually a multi-level marketing company, did well with that for a few years, but something was missing. It wasn't really mine. And so I was browsing online one day and saw all these really cute graphic tees. And I was like, hey, I can do that. So I bought my first machine, a little Cricut, and started an online website. Actually started in the Etsy platform, did that for a few years. But again, I kind of wanted to take a little bit more ownership of my business. And so in the beginning of last year, or I'm sorry, the beginning of this year, I actually started my Shopify site. Once I started that, I was really excited. I had people coming in through my Facebook, webpage and everything like that, but I didn't have that built-in platform of customers coming in that I didn't know. So I was kind of starting to look at ways I could get new customers in, people that I might not have known. So I looked at a number of different options, looked at Amazon Handmade, and that was a nightmare to work with, very, very complicated. And I don't know how I came across Shop Iowa, but I did. And once I realized that Shopify integration and how simple it was to get my products onto the Shop Iowa platform, I was sold, because not only is it handmade or, local business, or I'm sorry, not only is it like a handmade small business, people want to support small business, but it's also local, which, people also want to support local businesses. And cherry on top, it had that customer base already kind of interweaved in it. People would come to Shop Iowa, looking for things, that people that I might not have been able to reach. And so that's kind of how I got started in general with my business and how I Shop Iowa.
So how's Shop Iowa going for you so far? It's
so far so good. I like that. I love how simple it is to use with Shopify. All I have to do is create like a separate collection that is the Shop Iowa product sync. And I put a number of items in that. And like you said, I'm always trying to stay on top of the times, because, people are always looking to buy stuff before the season hits, so that once the season hits, they can wear it for the season. So, every weeks I try to, something's not getting the views, or the take it off and I'll replace it with something else. So I'm always kind of keeping an eye on it. Recently I've had an item go up and I've probably sold, I don't know, at least 100 of this particular design. And so I can't say, it's been a really great experience. You guys have been awesome to work with.
Thank you. Yes. So that shirt that she's talking about is her crop top t-shirt. There's 4 females on our staff here. So when we saw that shirt hit through the platform, we all kind of instantly liked it. It's, I think it was in the video, but it's got some corn stalks on it. It says crop top. And so I recently wore that to a trade show in Nashville and was stopped probably by about 70 people who saw the top that we were wearing, because Carly and I wore it together at the same time, and they loved it. And so, we've seen a number of people that have ordered it. It's come back. You can see that like a friend maybe had referred somebody else to come back to the platform. So in multiple different ways, people have come and found that shirt and referred back to the website, which not only benefits your business, but then that's benefiting all of the other businesses on the platform too, because they're exploring, they're shopping from other products and discovering more Iowa made things at the same time. And it's not just Iowa orders. You've had a number from outside the state as well, correct?
Oh yeah. I've had some from New York, Indiana. I think I just sent one to Arizona. So, really they're from all over, and it's not just Iowa orders coming from out of state as well.
Awesome. Any kind of tips or things that you want to share with other business owners, or things that they should know, or about joining the platform? I know one of our biggest hurdles for small businesses sometimes is just you're doing a lot. You're kind of a one-woman show, you're busy, or it's something that they're going to get to eventually. And so speaking of doing your own platform, to doing Etsy, to Shop Iowa, is there any tips or recommendations that you can share with another business owner on why they should or shouldn't do Shop Iowa, or how to kind of take the next step to getting at least a few more items listed or getting their shop kind of set up?
I just say in general, the more you can get your brand out there on whatever platform you can, you're going to see benefit from it. And with this particular platform, Shop Iowa, it was really very simple to set up. Like you were saying, 10 minutes, and that's not a joke. Like it really took not very long at all. Very like one step, then the next step, then the next step, and it just asks you the questions and you just fill it out. So I'd say the more you can get the brand out there, the better. If you do have a current web page with one of those other, not just Shopify, but you were saying Square and Weebly, it's really easily integrated, and it's just another way for people to find your business. And just another tip that I would just say in general for any business, especially small businesses, I'm just a one-woman show from the marketing to the taxes, is just do what you can do when you can do it. Procrastination is going to be your worst enemy. Get out what you can get out, do what you can do, and just make the effort to get it done.
The last piece I want to speak to, which I think you also do really well too. Sometimes a small business owner thinks of their customer as just that person that they know, or has maybe physically walked into their shop before. Do you feel any less of a connection to somebody who's ordered from New York, because they might become just as much of a raving fan of your business you do, and maybe talk about how you package your items in the notes that you write, because you do a really good job of that as well. It's a way to connect you to that customer.
Yes, absolutely. So with everybody likes to get, a thank you, like, especially when you're shopping small, they want to support you. That's why they're there. So with every package I put out, I write a little thank you note, and I actually have my notepad here. This is just like a tear off pad that I made on Vistaprint. And I just write a little thank you note. And then I say, be sure to follow me on Facebook, just so I can kind of keep the interaction with them as I update new products. Then maybe they're on Facebook more often than they are Shop Iowa, so they can see something and then come to my shop. So I always write a little thank you note to them. And if it's a name I recognize that I've seen a couple times, it'll be a different note, like, thank you for your continued support, like that kind of a note. So I try to keep an eye on that, especially with the return customers. They're there because they love you, and I love them just as much back because they're supporting me in my dreams. So that's kind of how I do that.
Well, that's one of the pieces too, kind of similar to Etsy in that regard, but where we want the customers to get to know you. I sold on Amazon for a long time. That's actually kind of how this whole piece got started as a small business owner in a similar fashion. And you could see the customer's name, but you couldn't contact them. You couldn't email them. They didn't know your contact information. It really was a separate process, and they kind of kept that all separate. We want the customers to get to know you. We want them to visit your social media pages, to go to your website if they find more items on your website and order from there. So it really is not just we're not hoarding this. We want them to fall in love with Iowa businesses and come back and buy more from Iowa businesses. And so that's really kind of a differentiator there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Any last tidbits or things to share from your end, Ashley, for either small business owners or maybe communities that are out there too, that are maybe thinking about getting their businesses engaged through the platform?
Just do it. It's like I said, it's getting your name out is really important. And if the more people, it makes it a memorable purchase experience when you do the little things to like thank them. So the more you can get your name out and make it personal, the better.
Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate you being here. Feel free to hang on if you want, or if you got other things to do, you can feel free to pop off. But I really appreciate you sharing your experience with Shop Iowa.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And Ashley,
Bye.
real quick, just so you know, I actually purchased a crop top shirt for my mom's birthday. So if she watches this, then she's going to know. But I went ahead and got a shirt for her. Thanks for joining us, Ashley.
Yeah, thanks.
So Sherry, we can pick up right there then on the consumer side. You talked a little bit about how consumers can find the Shop Iowa platform and the entrepreneurs that they want to buy from. But can you talk a little bit more about how the transactions work? I mean, how online payments work, how they can even have customer support, things along those lines?
Yep. So customers can come browse the platform. If they know they're coming, maybe they found a link to the crop top and they're coming to shop just the crop top, they can add that to their cart. They can add products from multiple different businesses to their cart. And then it is just one checkout. So when they process the checkout, it's one credit card processing, and it will send an individual order to each individual business so they get their own information about that. And then the customer will receive multiple different packages from those individual businesses. So it's not Amazon. We can't conglomerate, them into one shipment, but it's going to come with its own you'll get your package from Ashley with her handwritten note in there. And she always sends a little mint as well, or your separate one from a different business too. So you're going to get a few of those individually kind of curated packages from multiple different businesses. And then when they ship your package, you'll get a note that says, hey, part of your order has shipped. And you'll get a note maybe from Ashley that says, hey, your order's on the way, and your tracking number, so you can track each shipment individually. You have your own order dashboard in there as a customer too, so you can go back and see where things are. So it's pretty similar to any other online platform where you can come in and buy easily with one checkout.
And Sherry's not lying. That's exactly how it's happened for me anyway, the last couple of times I've purchased. So I'm going to go back just a little bit, just so any businesses that are on can maybe get an understanding of this. Because I get this question a lot too from entrepreneurs. What happens with sales tax? Does Shop Iowa the platform handle that at all?
Yeah. So for sales tax, we are in Iowa, there's a marketplace facilitator law that was passed a couple of years back. So we actually collect and remit sales tax that happens through the platform. So small businesses, for orders that happen through our site, they don't have to collect and remit that. That'll come into a holding account to us that we remit back to the state. So in that regard, it's actually kind of nice for small businesses. They don't have to worry about that portion in there, and remitting that back out.
So that's actually a huge added benefit, because not all platforms do that. I know that Shopify is a great platform, but it doesn't remit this. It might calculate it, but not remit it. So Shop Iowa does. So that's good to know.
As a small business owner, prior to this, kind of like I said, that was the worst. Sales tax, when it's time to every 3 months or so, when I was doing it, then it was the worst. I hated doing that. So our system now does kind of all of that, and we have software to do it and remit it. So it is a huge lifesaver to small businesses, I think.
I think most small business owners would agree with you. That's one of the worst parts. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay, we're going to transition a little bit and talk about the communities that you partner with. Let's talk about which communities are using it and how that actually benefits those towns.
We have, I think, about 200 different communities all throughout Iowa selling on the platform. I was pulling ahead of time. Some of the cities we have like West Des Moines, there's a number of businesses in there. Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Decorah has a number of businesses. So there's some pockets of communities that have a number of businesses in the area on it together. But then we have several towns where there's just one or two businesses on there. So it really kind of runs the gamut. Some of those ones where we've had a little bit more support, I know we have like a chamber or a Main Street that's maybe kind of engaged with some of their businesses in there to help them get active. And that's one of the pieces in this kind of second year that we're going into with Shop Iowa, is being able to engage more communities together at the same time, because similarly, if each community is kind of doing their own things and their own buy local initiatives, and if we can help them accomplish some of those things through the Shop Iowa platform too, our team's here kind of ready to serve that as well. So if they're doing sidewalk sales in person in their town, can we help them turn their sidewalk sale into an online sale that next week, and they can turn a certain number of products on sale, and we can help promote that out through newsletters and things. So that's really where we want to kind of get in helping these communities market their business of their community of businesses, through the Shop Iowa platform.
So I think what you're saying really is the Shop Iowa platform can parallel any community initiative that helps to promote shop local and to help their local entrepreneurs and their local retail stores.
Yes. So yeah, we can take those in-person initiatives that they currently do and help them kind of turn it into an online initiative. And especially with Small Business Saturday and some of those things coming up, and with the SBDC, the Shop Sooner campaign we'll talk about in a little bit, but really we want to push that all sooner, help communities be able to leverage their shared connection better and do it through an online platform. So yes, it's an overall Iowa site, but we can bridge it down by certain communities or certain even categories and communities within there. So we can do a lot with the platform if a community wants to engage further.
So along these same lines, COVID has done a lot in terms of maybe shifting or changing economic concepts or subjects, if you will, particularly with retail versus online, like in-person retail, brick and mortar versus online retail. So let's talk about that landscape a little bit, and then how Shop Iowa plugs right into that maybe issue, but then also opportunity.
Yeah. So this was a presentation I've been doing before the pandemic even happened, of really helping small businesses transition and how they're thinking about retail, that it doesn't have to just be those who are physically walking into your store, and how the landscape, the the landscape of retail has changed over the past 150 years, where people were going maybe into big cities and Macy's, and then it's kind of come out into smaller retail establishments, and it went into the malls, then it went into the Kmart's and Targets that line the streets, and now it's gone on to this online Amazon piece. And whatever happened before that, it doesn't go away, but you have to morph into what's happening to kind of stay relevant. And those that don't make that morph are the ones that are going to kind of fall off. And so we saw in 2020 a lot of businesses that weren't able to adapt into online commerce and just stuck with their physical retail store. A lot of those were the ones that were having the hardest hit time, or the ones that were end up closing their shops. So it's important for businesses to be able to bridge both the local and the online together and morph those together. And through the Shop.io platform, any kind of online platform, a really simple way is to do, we saw a lot of people offering home delivery, which we have within the platform. You can choose a local delivery radius. So I'm in Marion, I'm a business owner within Marion, you can offer free delivery to Marion. Also local pickup. So if you're close by where that business is, you can offer local pickup to be able to go in and get it in store. So it really can still blend in. People can still come into your physical shop, but it doesn't have to just be online or local. It's helping people find what exists in their local community, so they can go and shop by just Marion businesses. They can search or in apparel and accessories if they want to, and see what exists within that, or they can go out a little bit further and choose a different town. But it's blending both what's local and what's online. Even for me, I don't get out of my office all that often. It's sad to say, but I have 4 kids, running a business and doing lots of things. And so I don't get to be out and shop in those physical stores as much. And so giving an option to consumers to still shop locally, but do it for how they want to, whether that's in store or online, I think is really important.
So I'm pretty sure it's evident that viewers or listeners to this webinar would say that you're sort of becoming an expert in maybe small town retail or entrepreneurial retail, especially online. And you've had a couple years, several years to experience what it's like, first of all, to be an entrepreneur yourself and to sell online, but then also to see how other people are doing it, like Ashley as well. So you sort of have these pseudo case studies in your mind, I'm sure, that you've been thinking about in terms of sales. So let's talk about that regarding sales within a community, sales outside of that community, and then even sales outside of the state.
Yeah. So we've pulled some numbers recently, so I actually have it here on my piece. So far, when we look at overall orders on the Shop.io platform, about 77% are existing from within Iowa to within Iowa, but less than 2% are existing from within the same town. So we're like, for me, example, in Marion, buying from another Marion business, that's less than 2%. So most of the sales that are happening on the platform are likely new sales. So one of them this morning, when I was pulling it for a different webinar I did this morning, was from somebody ordered from Newton to a Lamar's business. It's about 3.5 hours from Newton to Lamar's to be able to go up there and buy those little fluffy slippers, little girl slippers or fluffy slippers. So they likely probably would not have made that purchase from that business in particular, in knowing that even existed, that product, and from that business. But they were able to bring in kind of outside dollars from there, keep the dollars still within Iowa, still supporting Iowa small businesses, but it's a sale that probably wouldn't have happened otherwise. So it's, and then again, outside of Iowa, I think it's about 14% are outside of the state entirely. So it's a customer that has bought from outside of Iowa, and it had the item shipped outside of Iowa, whether it's to them or somebody else. And then there's a lot of orders, especially during the holiday season, that we've saw, but they still happen all the time, all around, is orders from somebody within Iowa actually buying products and shipping them to their grandma in Florida, or just shipping them to a friend there. What's really nice during the holiday season, and I take advantage of it, again, being a busy mom, but I don't want to have to package up orders and take them to the post office and ship them. And so if a small business is going to do that and write a handwritten note in there, because I can add a note onto my order, it makes it really easy for me to make a great purchase, a great gift to our grandparents that live in Colorado, and they're going to get that. And I don't have to actually facilitate myself, besides place the order on my computer, and I look like the hero for it.
So those last comments really resonate with me, because I've done the same thing, where I've purchased a gift card for Shop Iowa and sent that gift card to my sister-in-law over in New York City. She turned around and purchased something, I think, out of Sioux City. So from New York City to Sioux City, right? And that's dollars that's flowing from, one of the biggest cities in the world to a place that's not nearly as big. So that kind of leads us, or segues us into, maybe an overarching theme here that's not necessarily more important, but certainly more broad in the sense of the economic multiplier effect or the local economic multiplier effect that Shop Iowa has on these small communities who are reaching, as you've said, 77% of their sales are outside of that community. That's outside cash, new cash getting injected into that local community, which perpetuates and strengthens the local multiplier effect. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Maybe we can talk about how that's so important to an economic development strategy.
Yeah. So when you're purchasing from an Iowa business or a business community, that dollar then is staying with that business. What is it? Is it? Oh, you did your thesis on it. Is it 43% of every dollar stays? No, it's higher than that.
It's higher than that. Some people easily will say 2 times. It'll turn over twice as much.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Turning over. So just being able to have that money come into that community and circulate back within. So they're going to go and support another business in there with their packaging maybe that they need for that they are going to go out and buy groceries at the local store from there. The money that comes in from outside is brand new money to that community. So again, less than 2% are from within the same one where the money is staying in that same community. It's nice because communities within Iowa can kind of compete against each other, but you also can bring in money from Texas or from New York or from those other places that are coming into Iowa and being able to circulate back around, because then they can support their kids' dance teams. They can fund their softball teams or their other initiatives, give back to their schools, to be able to go out into the restaurant there and support restaurants there, then be able to hire employees. It really does circulate back around and being able to make that money live farther. And again, we're kind of all in this together. If we think about ourselves, like we're Iowa, we are Iowa, we care about Iowa, we care about Iowa businesses. And for any customer to be able to support an Iowa business on here, it all goes back in. So we don't take a commission on their orders. That doesn't come back to us. That all goes back to the Iowa business when they make that purchase.
Yeah, and just to add to that too, there's some pretty significant research that shows that local entrepreneurs keep those local dollars within their community more so than bleeding them out. So when you have more cash injected into that local economy, then that strengthens or really increases the volume of dollars that circulates within aspect. What helps small businesses do together? You want to talk about collective marketing and how that should be a part of their online strategy?
Yeah, so we have a number of partners, kind of like I said earlier. We have the IEDA team and This is Iowa, the Travel Iowa website. We have the SBDC team from Iowa. We have all of these communities throughout Iowa that are invested in this, and our team, the small businesses that are a part of this, the customers that are shopping on the platform. All together, all of this is really what's marketing the platform. It's there's a number of initiatives by each of those formally, but it really makes it so that customers can come to one website and be able to shop from those small businesses. And I always compare it to a farmer's market. And so, Ethan, but I'm not sure if everybody else here knows, the Shop Iowa and Member Marketplace got started because I was a small business owner. I sold online through Amazon myself, kind of like I said earlier, and at farmers markets. And it was really the combination of Amazon and farmers markets that were really my 2 best sellers, where we had multiple different people coming to one place at the same time to be able to browse products there. And for a farmers market, if I were just to create, I had a pink and white tent at the time. And if I were to put my pink and white tent out on my street corner and say, hey guys, come shop from me tomorrow between 9 to 5, I'm going to get X many customers who are going to drive by, maybe see something that they want and stop and get it. But when you be a part of a farmer's market, like the Cedar Rapids Downtown Farmers Market, for example, there was 200 businesses that were there between 7 a.m. to noon. And customers know to descend on that every other Saturday in Cedar Rapids and come and shop from all of those vendors. So you have a number of people who are coming and are looking for items. And what's nice for that, it makes it easy for customers to be able to find what they want quickly and easily. And that's what we always come back to. We know sometimes expanding how you sell as a business owner, it takes extra effort. but making it easy for a customer. So it takes effort to be a part of a farmer's market. You have to prepare your products ahead of time. You have to get them set up. You have to load them in your car. You have to set up before people get there. They come and shop down. You're kind of sweaty at the end of the day, take it all down, but you get a nice amount of sales. And it's easy for the customer to come and browse from all of those multiple different things. And it's the same thing for a marketplace platform. Yes, getting your stuff online can take some extra effort than you're used to than maybe just your retail store, but you have a lot of different customers coming at the same time to descend on it. And if there's enough different products, especially from what they're looking for, they can compare right there on the same website. So if they're looking for a women's long sleeve blouse, they can browse through long sleeve blouses, find the size that they want, and they don't have to go off and I didn't find anything I want and go off to shop on Amazon or some other website. There's enough product for them to define the right price point, to find the style that they like, and be able to order it. And that really is what we're trying to make it as convenient for the customer to be able to shop from these Iowa businesses through one marketplace platform, and having them be able to descend on one platform where everybody's helping to market in some regard makes it easy because they're all coming there at the same time. And you don't have to market it on your own. So if I'm just doing my own little tent, I'm, got my sign waving, I maybe made a social media post, but I have multiple different people also waving their signs, making their social media posts. There's press releases that have gone out about it. For example, one piece, for example, is the Field of Dreams piece that happened not that long ago. And so we prepared on the site, we had a Field of Dreams tag going on the site. We had a bunch of Field of Dream products, different businesses that had products that were related to baseball or Field of Dreams. I know there was a press release that went out by the IEDA team or Travel Iowa team. Some that got picked up by national syndicates. And so there are people all over from throughout the world coming to Shop Iowa and looking for products or looking to see what's discovered existed, because we have this site that can market all of these individual businesses together in one shared platform.
That's a super good point. And if you think about it, that's why malls are designed the way that they are. They bring in different shops to bring consumers to one collective spot. Same with car dealerships. Even though they might be competitors, they understand that science too. You bring consumers together in one particular spot, it makes it easier for them. So that's a super good point. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit, but just in case there's anything that we missed here, Shop Iowa support for small businesses, support for their community partners, and support for consumers. How do they get access to support from the platform?
Yeah, so businesses, when they sign up, they're going to get a number of different emails from us to helping them get onto the platform, or if we notice when we review their products, we kind of become an extension of their team. So Ashley said she's kind of a one-woman show running her Shopify site by herself. We are an extension of their team. So we review the products on there. We make sure that has the necessary information. We make sure they're connected to billing. We manage the website. They don't have to do kind of all of these individual pieces. So for the business owner, it really is having somebody that's kind of looking over your shoulder and helping you along the way. We have people that call in and say, hey, I'm trying to do this and it's not working. And so we can fix it for them ourselves. We can walk them through the steps. We'll send them screenshots via email. Sometimes we've gone into Zoom. So really, however that business needs, the SBDC team has been really great and has gone out and met businesses where they're at and done a number of different things. So depending on where they are, or what support they need, we can really get them to where they want to be, within just a few minutes or relatively quickly to help them get where they are. Customers too, we are the customer service end to the platform. So we answer phone calls to customers. Sometimes they're looking for a particular business or they've heard of something, or they need some assistance with a checkout. There's a really sweet story. One of our staff members, a guy had called in, I think he was in his upper 80s and really wanted to send a gift basket to his daughter. So, but he hadn't really used websites in general much and just wasn't sure of the process. So our team did it with him over the phone, and we got a nice note added on there. So that business owner shipped out a basket to his daughter. So we're a customer service to the customers as well. And then to the communities, which is kind of really where we wanted to kind of hit home today. We want to be an extension of that community online too. So if we need to do, if a certain community has an initiative going on in there that they want to help highlight through the platform, we can maybe create a landing page that will highlight whatever information and pull in relevant products or businesses into that they can help promote out on their end. We can provide results back on certain initiatives that they were doing on a Small Business Saturday piece. Maybe we integrate it into there. We can give them some resources back on that. We can train their team, their businesses, and do a special webinar for them. So we really can pair up with these communities on certain initiatives too, and be an extension of that and help them get more visibility, maybe through our newsletter, or share out whatever they're doing through our other partners too, and see if we can get some more visibility on their initiatives as well.
And speaking of customer service, we do have a question here from Deb. Deb, we'll get back to your question here in a minute. I think Sherry will be able to shed some light on your question. But before we get to that, I think maybe to close things up, we should talk about, Sherry, a little bit about your experience. You are a small business owner. You are from Iowa. All of these contextual things really helped you develop the concept, the idea, the platform. And I think Shop Iowa does a great job at really trying to help other entrepreneurs that were and still are just like who you are. You want to talk about that at all and your experience as being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So similarly to Ashley, we had two kids at the time, and I knew I wanted four. At some point, you cut your losses with daycare, and you say, "I'm going to stay at home." And it was probably 6 months or so in that I was like, "I need something else to keep me busy." And so I found Pinterest around that time frame and started making handmade products. And it was actually hair bows, and I didn't even have a son at the time, but I was putting them on neighbor girls and friends girls, and people said, "Hey, I like these. Can I buy them?" And my husband was a web developer at the time, and so we made he built me a website, and I was selling online through eventually farmers markets and Amazon and my own website, and doing a good number of pieces there. And there was a little craft fair one time in Iowa. It was a school resource fair. It was like coming up for Christmas holidays where you could, they wanted, discounted products like $5 or $10 so kids could buy Christmas presents for their siblings. And so I thought, that's nice. I'll do that. I have a lot of product left over from the summer. And I went and set up the night before. And then that night it snowed and nobody came to the craft fair in the morning. It was like a 3-hour craft fair. For me, it wasn't a big deal. I had a lot of other ways I was making means, which is what I always say for a small business owner too. Whenever you can diversify how you're selling, you shouldn't just put all your eggs in one basket. But for this small craft fair, this is what most of the crafters were doing. They were doing these craft fairs or farmers markets. And if nobody comes to them, you've wasted your time, your money, your resources away from your family. It's really disappointing. So we looked around the craft fair and we saw most of these business owners, they weren't selling online at all. So I called my husband. I said, "Get over here, put the boots on the kids. We're going to shop from these businesses." Like, this person was amazing, and this person was amazing, and this person was amazing. But again, you didn't know that they existed unless you came to this craft fair. And so we built a marketplace to see if we could get small business owners selling online together, and have grown it since then in I think 16 different states now, and working with different communities all over. Some of the main pieces, though, from that we've learned is people want to feel connected to their products, which is more and more, it's growing each year. So that's why people like farmers markets. They want to know who it comes from. We want them, businesses, to tell their story within their shops. We want them to feel their enthusiasm for their business and why they should want to buy from them in the first place. We want them to be connected to their resources. We want them to be connected to what they have to offer, whether it's their websites or their social media. It is important to be able to meet the customers, though, where they're at. And so if they want to come to your shop, if they want to visit a farmer's market, if they want to shop from your Facebook page, if they want an easy way to add items to their cart and go, meet your customers where they are. And that's what our platform is ever continually trying to do, is just help facilitate those customer orders even more efficiently, and then do so on a platform where it's meant for all of Iowa small businesses together through the site.
Absolutely. So from one Iowa small business to many others, I mean, this is really a win-win-win in the larger perspective here for entrepreneurial development in places all over the state, rural or urban, for consumers to find those products, not just consumers within the state or in your community, but even outside of the state. And then from an economic development standpoint too, perpetuating that economic development local multiplier effect as well, injecting outside cash into your local economy. So Shop Iowa does a lot of things for a lot of people. It's a great platform to really help a lot of different parties. So we do have a question, Sherry. Do you want to read that question on the chat if you can see it, and then maybe help Deb out here?
It says, "My husband and I have a sawmill and have done some custom saw milling. We'll be able to put some small pieces locally of harvested wood or slabs on Shop Iowa if we were able to start one." Actually, yeah, that sounds good. So there's a couple pieces that we may need to have on there. I think you may need to be set up a business registered with the state of Iowa as one of the pieces there if it's a handmade business. So if you're not a retail store, so you may have to set up something with the state or be able to say that you collect and remit sales tax. But if it's only sold on our platform, and that's the only place we may be able to work something out on there. But some of those wood slabs actually, and I know I don't know all the processes that go into it, but they sell pretty well. I mean, people use those for weddings and use them for a lot of things. So yeah, feel free to write our team info@shopiowa.com if you have particular questions, or if you want to talk with somebody in our team to really kind of talk through what you want to sell and how you want to sell it. And if there's any other kind of metrics that we need you to do ahead of time. But if anybody who's not yet a business and maybe wants to start selling on there might be a couple pieces you have to do or agree to ahead of time. And so we can walk you through those. And for those who already have an existing business, then it should be pretty quick for you to onboard the platform. But Deb, yeah, talk with our team. Feel free to write in info@shopiowa.com and we'll work with you to get to the next step or to get you added to the platform.
And the SBDC can help too with some of those more technical pieces of starting a business too, to prepare you for Shop Iowa as well. So if you'd like to reach out to your local SBDC director, we can certainly step in and offer some no-cost assistance too.
And that really is a great resource for these small businesses. And that's really kind of where the SBDC and Shop Iowa come together really nicely, because you guys are providing that direct support to small businesses, assisting them, to get everything set up for their business that they might need. And then we can be that e-commerce leg for brand new businesses as well.
One question I think we get a lot from the SBDC as well, I'm sure you and your team do too. Do you have to have, and we talked about this earlier, but just to reiterate, do you have to have a brick and mortar location in order to sell on Shop Iowa? Go ahead.
Nope. So originally that was the goal, because when physical doors were shut for some of these retailers, it was the goal just to get up as many retailers quickly. And so phase 2 was then to bring in those businesses that maybe were doing homemade businesses. So I think starting, it's almost a year now or so, maybe not quite a year since we've had handmade businesses on the platform. So home-based businesses can, but it is handmade home businesses. So not necessarily some MLMs or some of those. It needs to be products that they're making from home.
Then again, to reiterate, we touched base on this earlier, but you do not have, well, I'll ask you the question. Do you have to have an online presence? Can you be brand new to the online retail world, or do you have to know how to sell online previously before you get on Shop Iowa?
So you can be brand new to e-commerce, and our team will walk you through that. So there's several businesses that we work through that don't even maybe have a social media page yet. They definitely don't have a website. Some of them might even not have their own personal social media page. And so that might be the biggest learning gap for some businesses, but we're here to assist. We can walk you through it. Just like Ashley said, we've kind of simplified the steps as simple as possible to try to get you to where you need to be. And then we can help bridge the gaps if something's just not making sense. So that's where we call in, or you call in and we work with you over the phone, or we schedule a meeting separately if we need to. But we're here to help businesses that have never sold online before. But then we can also, easily support those businesses that already have a full functioning online store just as easily.
And a unique element to this too, if you don't have an online presence either, is you can use that URL and put that URL on your e-signature for your email or on a business card, and it goes straight there as if it was your own landing page. I've seen some businesses do that too, and it works pretty well. So Sherry, I don't have any other questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention before we end the webinar today?
I would like to say, so there is a Shop Sooner campaign that your SBDC, the Iowa SBDC has started. And so really the premise around Shop Sooner is to help people buy products and buy gifts earlier this year, because there is a lot of delays that are happening for small businesses with the production. Whether some people are just having problems getting maybe jars to put their candle wax in, or getting their goods in on time. And so really there's an initiative by your team that Shop Iowa is supporting called the Shop Sooner campaign to help people be able to buy gifts earlier this season to give our small businesses a chance to fulfill their orders earlier. And especially once we hit kind of early December, some of the shipment times, even from USPS and some of those get further extended. So we want to make sure that you get your gifts on time. And so the Shop Sooner campaign is really an initiative to help you buy your products and gifts earlier. And with Shop Iowa, we have a Shop Sooner coupon. So it's $10 off if you were to buy before November, or actually before December 1st. So you have from now through December 1st to utilize a Shop Sooner coupon to get $10 off of your order through Shop Iowa. So if you add items to your cart, put in Shop Sooner, the coupon code, and it should deduct $10 off of your order from any business within the state of Iowa from now through November 30th.
And we did get another question slid into the chat here. If you want to go ahead and address that one.
any shipping tips or suggestions that we have from a small business, there's several, but we actually, USPS is maybe my main recommendation. Is kind of the most small business friendly that we've seen, depending on your products, but it's really the most small business friendly. There's multiple different package types that a small business can utilize. We have a shipping provider that we recommend, which is Shippo, to help you print your shipping labels from home or from your storefront if you have one. And then we have tips based on your particular products or things that you're offering that our team can suggest. So if you want to know, like, hey, these are my typical items that I ship, what do you recommend, how I ship them, and maybe my shipping costs related to those, and we can even help you estimate some of your shipping costs. You kind of know what to add those into your shop. So again, our team can work with you on some of that, but also, even if you didn't know, I think a USPS provider, and I think your team maybe introduced this to me, Ethan, that a USPS provider can actually even give you custom packaging, set you up. They will bring in some of the flat rate boxes into your shop or into your home. I did that for a while. So that you can get free resources to be able to use USPS, and then even discounted shipping labels. Rather than walking into the store, you can print off discounted shipping labels online as well. So there's a number of different tips there. And then always adding, separately, but just that thank you note and creating that personal connection between you and the customer that bought from you, I think is always a nice touch, because you don't get those from Amazon. Has never written me a note in my order to thank me for it. So.
Okay, so just one final question here, and you briefly mentioned in the beginning, but again, just to kind of end things on, how much does Shop Iowa cost to use for a business?
It's free. So it is a free resource to Iowa small businesses. It is, again, an initiative of the Iowa Economic Development Authority, supported by the Iowa SBDC. So it is free to small businesses to utilize. And the support from our team is also free. So we are here to help you expand how you sell online and do it through the Shop Iowa platform, and help more people discover all the hard work that you already put into your business. Let us help you market and sell your items online as well.
All right. Well, that's all I have, Sherry. I think that was pretty good. As a good brief overview. So I just want to thank everybody for joining today. This is recorded, so you can catch it again. Bree, will this be on the SBDC site or the SBDC Facebook page and Instagram? You're on mute, Bree.
Sorry. Yep, it'll be on our YouTube channel and on our website, along with, we'll share it on Facebook and our social media pages. So, yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, everybody.